As Thea jumped out of her bed to her feet, she could feel her extremely soft baby pink rug sink into her toes. The morning sunlight was shining upon her and her beloved ginger puppy Ruby. "Come on, Ruby, let's go and get ready. We've got a big day ahead of us," exclaimed Thea excitedly. Thea and Ruby, the puppy, were going to the local town fun fair, so they needed to get dressed, have their breakfast and brush their teeth so they could go. You must be thinking, how are they going to get there? Well, Thea has her own amazing bright pink bike and Ruby goes in the basket at the front of the bike. So off they went on their journey. Thea and Ruby arrived at the amazing bright coloured fun fair. Thea couldn't wait to go on all the rides. Yes, you heard me, all the rides. First she went on the bumper cars, one of her favourites. They were pretty fast. Next she went on the biggest, most fun roller coaster ever. Time was ticking and it was getting darker. Thea had been on all the rides except one, the Ferris wheel. So off she went. Before she went on, she had to tie Ruby up outside the ride, just like she had done on all the other rides. Except this was different. When Thea came off of the colossal Ferris wheel, you'll never guess what happened. Ruby was not there. Thea was petrified. She had no clue what to do and how Ruby was missing. Thea started to search her very hardest. She even went to the information desk to ask if Ruby was there. The person that was sitting behind the desk looked scary to Thea because he had a nasty look on his face and his teeth were black and rotten. "Excuse me, can I report a missing dog?" Thea asked politely. "No, you cannot. If you've lost your dog, then you have to find it yourself," the man replied grumpily. "But I thought this was the information desk," cried Thea. She tried her very hardest to stay calm with the horrible man and asked once more, but it was useless. He would not help find Ruby. Thea carried on looking by herself. She went everywhere. She even went to the roller coaster and the bumper cars, but still, she could not find Ruby anywhere. Suddenly, Thea heard a mighty scream, so she followed the sound, sprinting as fast as she possibly could. Thea found where the sound was coming from. She was puzzled why the loud scream had been coming from the popcorn store. There was the biggest crowd Thea had ever seen around the popcorn store. She had to push and squeeze her way through. She had to squish and push her way past the people so she could get to the front of the crowd so she could see what was happening. As she made her way to the front, Thea was shocked at what she saw. She thought it may have been the biggest popcorn machine in the whole entire world, but that was not just the case. There was a dog inside the popcorn machine eating it all. Then Thea had a closer look. It was Ruby! Thea was so relieved she had found Ruby, but then she realised, how is she going to get her out? Thea was so embarrassed that Ruby was in the popcorn machine, but she had to do the right thing and confess to the seller that Ruby was her dog. Thea slowly and quietly made her way to the counter. Hi there, Thea said shyly. "Yes," said the popcorn man. "You know that dog in your popcorn machine?" said Thea. "Yes, what about the dog in the popcorn machine?" "Is it yours?" asked the popcorn man. "Well," Thea stammered. "It is, isn't it?" replied the man a little impatiently. "Yes, I'm so sorry. I was on a ride then," chattered Thea. "It's okay, don't worry. I thought it was rather funny," chuckled the popcorn man. "Really?" exclaimed Thea. "Yes, and now I have so many customers wanting to buy all my sweet treats," the popcorn man said excitedly. So let's get this pup of yours out then, hey?" "Yep, let's do that before she eats all your popcorn. Trust me, her favourite food is definitely popcorn," Thea laughed. "My dog loves popcorn too," responded the popcorn man excitedly. "And by the way, my name is Tom." Thea and Tom unscrewed the top of the popcorn machine and carefully lifted Ruby out. Thea thanked Tom for being so kind and understanding about the whole situation. He even let Thea choose anything she wanted from his store for free. Thea chose a sweetie bag, a pot of candy floss, chocolate, and pretty much everything at his stall, apart from the popcorn, because Ruby may have done her business in there. It was getting around the time for dinner, so Thea cycled home with Ruby in the basket as usual. Later that night, all of Thea's family came round to have a nice Chinese dinner because it was Chinese New Year after all. It was the year of the ox, which was Thea's birth year, so while she had their delicious duck wraps, egg fried rice, and many more scrummy dishes, Thea told them all this crazy story on how she lost Ruby, then found her, and made a new friend Tom, and the story goes on. After they had finished their amazing dinner, Thea and her family sat on the sofa and watched a film called The Fun Fair as they enjoyed the treats from Tom. Hope you enjoyed my story. Bye!